What's up, Papa Snow here? Good afternoon. Happy Eid to everyone. All right. I hope you guys are having a great afternoon, by the way. Okay, let me just go ahead and share this particular post out. A little bit of stuff going on here. All right. Today we definitely have an interesting topic that we're going to talk about today. Okay. Now, earlier, there was something happening, and I noticed that shortly after I changed something on my status, I would have received a message, a message from Guyana Rude Boy. And wow, sometimes some of the things people say, boy, let me tell you, the things some people say, right, leaves you with no choice but to kind of give a response, right? So I think a response is actually in order, right? And I mean, he asked a valid question in some regards. I might not be too happy with the way in which he asked it, but he did ask a valid question. I don't know how many people saw the video Rude Boy put up, right? Saying that he wanted to come to Guyana because he could not find a woman, right? Mind I say, I'm changing some of the words up, right? Because uh, he used the term vagina, but he used it from a different angle that sounds a little bit more derogatory. However, you know, the adults tend to use it. Delano, I'm not engaged. Okay, all right. Just letting everybody know. All right. One, I don't want to talk about my personal life. That's like the first thing, right? I'm gonna keep my personal life off air. Now, earlier I did something I had no idea it was going up as a post, right? And when I did it and I checked, I saw that it did go up as a post, and I realized like there's a lot of people apparently watching. Rude Boy, Guyana Rude Boy, being one of them, right? Yes, Ken. Yes, Ken. Sebastian is safe and sound today. In fact, Sebastian had added security, okay, over the last week due to the fact that today is Korbani. So happy Eid to everyone once again. Um, yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I'm still eating beef. However, Sebastian doesn't have to know, right? So we're not gonna tell Sebastian that I'm still eating beef. Okay, he's gonna do his own little thing. Okay, but he is safe and sound. All right, and we did have a couple people offer for him, which was kind of crazy, and they made some good offers, but he's just not for sale. Right? Sebastian's like my little boy right now. Me and him were good. All right, so after I did certain things earlier, I noticed certain people were watching, and they started making some videos right away. And of course, because you could see that people start to make videos right away as soon as anything in my life changes, which is crazy, right? I'm going to ensure that I keep a lot of my personal things very, very personal and, you know, out of everybody else's business. Also, at the same time, I did change certain things because there are gonna be people, like there are gonna be people who might like me, and amazing people. I'm not gonna say anything. It's just that I know what I want, I know what I'm looking for, and I know what I'm happy with. Right. So, uh, leaving that like that and moving forward, it looks like Guyana Rude Boy uh, is looking for a mate. So he has done a video requesting me to help him find a mate. Well, first, I have to tell him that I'm very happy that he trusts me with that type of decision. So I will take it and handle it as professionally as I would handle any other breeding system within my kennel club. Okay, and the first thing that we have to do is identify what species, right, Rude Boy is looking for, because I mean, I'm helping Sebastian find a mate, and that's a female cow. I've helped George get hens, right? I've helped my dogs find their mates, right? So I definitely need to find out what type of mate Rude Boy is looking for, because I don't know how many of you would have noticed. And Rude Boy, you got me confused here, Rudy. You got me really, really confused here, my brother. Um, Very simply because on one of the shows that we did, when we collaborated for that show, one of the first things that you did was you held out a dildo, and that left me puzzled. I was very, very puzzled. I was confused for a moment, because I mean, I'm not really up in your business or anything, but I I did feel that you were living alone with two dogs, and you know, and the dildo looked like it was bigger than the dogs. So I was just left to wonder who was really using the dildo, right? And that being the case, I didn't think you were interested in women. I had no clue. I was left. I was so when you made that video, one, I applaud you, right, for being a man and for understanding that you will need a woman at some point in time in your life. Okay? Um, you were saying you wanted to come to Guyana to find a woman. Now, um, hmm, my brother, it's a little odd, right? Because I've been in Guyana since 2003, and you know I've had a couple relationships. However, nothing has amounted to what I have actually been looking for. So you really need to know what you're looking for too, right? If you're just looking for a little bit of sex, then you could get that anywhere. Sex isn't the hardest thing to get, and I don't think any adult uh, here would disagree with the fact that sex is not something hard to get. If you're looking for sex, it's one thing. If you're looking for a relationship, it's something totally and completely different. It requires a lot more of you, okay? It requires that personal time, that dedication. It requires those things, okay? Yes, Lovey, right? Rude Boy is rude, right? So he speaks a particular way, right? Um, I don't think I don't think that. I mean, he made a statement. He said that we're both red men and things like this, right? Um, I don't think that just being red will guarantee you to get what it is that you want. You're gonna need a little bit of a diet, right? Like a good 6 month, 7 month, like hardcore diet, and at the same time, with the attitude, you're gonna need a lot of money. You're gonna need a lot of money. Depending on where you go, you're gonna need a lot of money, right? Plenty money, right? Um, However, like I said earlier, when I stated that you left me confused because you did the show, when we did that show together there, you had a big dildo, and and from what I know, you're a guy, you're living by yourself, you got your dogs, and the dildo being bigger than the dogs, bro, um, left me to really wonder who it was being used on. So when you say you want to come by me, I mean, you could come to Guyana. I don't think you're gonna come by me, right? Because I'm a little nervous about that, right? That whole dildo thing, dude. It just really really threw it off. Just really threw it off, and you know, I think that'll scare Sebastian. I think it'll scare my chickens. You understand? So these are things that have me a little nervous. Uh, I know people have spoken about me going to jail before, but definitely, dude, some habits you just don't pick up. Okay, so you know, it's just crazy. However, my brother, uh, right now is probably also not the time to be running around and looking for a mate. Okay, COVID is a serious thing, right? I'm surprised you can't find somebody up there. I mean, also, you're saying come to Guyana. Have you seen the behavior of some of our Guyanese women? Haven't you seen it in all of the app new stuff? People are like whining, bending over, doing their thing, right? Some of them scare me, bro. So I think we might definitely be into different types of circumstances, right? No, nah, Yaz, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that. But I'm just addressing the fact of the video that he put up earlier, right? I think it's important to address that video because as soon as anything changes on my page, right? You always hear something. You always see something, right? That is why pretty much I try my best to keep certain things very private if necessary. There's always a saying, don't let your left hand know what your right hand is doing. That saying is in the Bible. It's there for a reason, right? Right? But let's talk about certain things right now. I think this opens up a whole new type of conversation, whole new type of dynamic conversation, right? Aside from Rude Boy, because I still need to determine the species uh, that I would be asked to help locate, right? Um, I'm still trying to figure it out. When I do figure it out, I would be a little bit. It'll be a little bit easier. But let's talk about relationships in Guyana, right? And is now like a really good time to really get into relationships here in Guyana, right? Andrew, oh, don't say that about the poor doggy. Don't say that about the doggy them. Oh, doggy them know how to chase like the. Oh, Andrew, oh, right. But yes, let's talk about timing and relationships, right? Let me tell you something. Realistically, ladies and gentlemen, in the world right now, in my opinion, right? Because I actually do relationship counseling for clients, right? I actually do that, right? And it's crazy because I've been in and out of relationships. However, I know what it is I'm looking for, and I think right now a majority of people, not just in Guyana, I think this is kind of a global thing. A majority of people don't really truly know what they're looking for, right? Um, and it takes a moment, it takes some experience, it takes some blows sometimes, right? It takes some mistakes, man. They happen, right? You could call it a mistake or you could call it a learning curve, right? Ha ha ha, Lee. Right, Rubai gonna sing to me. Yeah, I see Rubai singing. Rubai singing. Well, I mean that's one way to go. Hey, you're a singer, you're gonna get through. I see plenty people singing plenty song these days, right? Just don't let it be like a heartbreak song, yeah. But yes, relationships, man, relationships, not just in Guyana, but generally, right? A lot of people in this day and age don't truly know what it is that they want, and because of that, most relationships these days fail. And I think that a lot of people might be able to agree with that. If a lot of you tell me that most relationships these days work out, I think you might have a problem. You know what, Paras? I don't completely disagree with you. If you want the problem, take a woman. Uh, that most of the time that could be the case if you're taking the wrong woman, right? If you're taking the wrong woman, right? Likewise, if a woman wants the problem, take a man, right? If she take the wrong man, it's gonna be a big headache as well. Here's the reality, ladies and gentlemen. Most women don't fully understand what they truly want until they're about 30. Most men don't even fully understand what they need in their life until they're about 35 or older, right? Now, some people are going to be like, nah, that's not true. But you have to look at the general statistics, right? And I don't think you should be trying to acquire your life partner before you have established certain things for yourself and on your own in this life. I think that is very, very important, right? Um, because most of us don't even know who we are, We don't know who we are until we have had an opportunity to experience life, which is why most young relationships fail. Of course, there are those exceptional few that fall in love as teenagers, and they're happily ever after. But the reality is that's once wide and far. That's not always going to be there, right? Victor, Victor, I think we can go with that. I think we can go with that thought because there is a fundraiser that we're doing for August 20th for the orphanages here in Guyana. So if anybody would like to participate in that fundraiser as well, not just Rude Boy, of course I'm going to ask him, but I'm going to ask all of you out there as well if you would like to participate, right, in helping us feed these kids and give them toys and spend a day with them. Remember, if you can't make a financial contribution, you can also come and physically spend time with these kids, play a board game with them, show them a little love, right? So that's probably the most important thing, right? Is having that time, people who can help mentor these kids. We're actually looking for a lot of women to participate so that they can help with counseling of the young girls between the ages of 12 to 16. Okay, I could do a lot of counseling for young boys, but I think it's very, very important if we had some women volunteers who can assist with counseling for these young ladies. Okay, some of the items that we have to get for some of these kids, especially for the young women, with things like maxi pads, tampons, things like that, bras, the right type of stuff that they need, because generally when persons make donations to orphanages, they don't always cater for the fact that the orphanage actually has some children who are up to 16 who are actually about to be put out of the orphanage because the orphanage is only legally allowed to hold kids from one age to the next, right? So there's a lot of kids who are going to end up just being out there with no real guidance, and the state doesn't have any plan or programs for them, and that's a very serious thing. And what might end up happening, and I'll tell you what's going to end up happening, right? There are going to be people who are going to want to fly into this country, especially for these young ladies who are lost causes, who don't have proper guidance. And those people might just want to come down here for a quick little, and those young ladies will be very susceptible to that. Now, I got girl children, right? So I just think about all of this stuff because I wouldn't ever want to see my own in positions like that. And I am very grateful and thankful to the Father Almighty for ensuring that my children never had to go through anything of that nature. However, that is a sad and harsh reality that happens to a lot of these young women who are now of age and they can't stay in the orphanages anymore. There's no social structure put in place for them. So I'm hoping that we can get a lot of female volunteers from Guyana to come with us on the 20th of August to go and visit these orphanages and spend some time with these children and help to not just educate them a little bit, but just let them know that there are people that give a damn, that really trying to step out of the way and help them, explain to them, help them identify what real dangerous people look like, right? And it's very, very important that we educate our children in the dangers that are out there because these young people, they're being exploited, okay? They're being exploited. Right now in our country, we even have a lot of underage Spanish girls who are, people are just exploiting them, right? Unfortunately, in the heart of town, we still have whorehouses. We still have all of this stuff, right? And it's funny because you have a whorehouse right across from a popular school. I mean, I still can't get the grasp of that. You have a whorehouse not too far from a children's toy store. I still can't get the grasp of that. Yet we are living under a fit and proper government. Are you serious? Right? So let me just explain. These are some of the sad realities about what is going on, right? Now, too many people come and exploit the people of Guyana because of the situation they're in. It's been happening in Venezuela. It's been happening in Brazil. It's been happening in a lot of other countries, right? Let's see. I see something that really sparks my interest here. Anthony, I'm living 40 years with my husband. It's not an easy one living up my life. The biggest problem is he is a sweet man, but he changed. No. Okay, well, here's the thing. I think all man need to be a sweet man at some point in time, right? Now, some people might say, no, that's not the case. It's this and this. Listen, to a man's woman, a woman has to make her man feel like is she sweet man all the time. Man does require attention too. Man does want to get spoiled. Man does want feel pretty sometime, right? Or handsome. They want to feel important, right? And some men, just like some women, their appetite is very, very big for attention. And this is what I tell people. You really got to know what you want. And if you end up in a situation, especially with a younger guy who, his hormones, he wants to just like bang whatever, right? Um, if you end up with a dude like that, you gotta be ready for the Rockins. You got to be ready for the Rockins. Let me tell you, back in me days, Scott, I rock and roll. Don't play games. If you was with me, you was having one hell of a life. Trust me when I tell you this. I was primarily fixated on my woman in a particular manner. And I could tell you, if if you take a man with such a heightened drive and you know you can't handle that, then you got to think about it. And you got to consider, hey, should I left this man for a minute and let him grow up and see what he turns into? Some women can bear up, some women can't. Some men just have to bear up with some incredibly beautiful women. I know a friend who has somebody that he's in crazy love with. However, the circumstance does not allow him to be with that person the way he wants to. And he has to deal with the fact that she's probably with other people. But if he really want that woman, oh, he gotta go through some suffering. And that is the truth. The boy gotta suffer, right? Until whenever whatever they plan is becomes relevant. And it's crazy. It is crazy, right? But at the end of the day, everybody need to feel like the sweet man. Our man need to feel like a sweet man for their woman at some point in time. And some women don't make their man feel that way. Some women don't make their men feel attractive enough, courageous enough, experimental enough. Some people don't even tell their mate the type of things that they have going on in their head for sake that they think their mate will judge them. Nah, be gruesomely and brutally honest, right? I guarantee if when your husband, before he'd settle down, I guarantee if you were to tell him, baby, let we handcuff and duct tape you and try something new, you would have blew the man whole mind away. No woman couldn't come up and do that to your man. When you catch a man with an appetite like that, you need to take control, women. That's what you need to do. You need to go and say, hey, you know what? Ha ha ha. You're mine, and this is what I'm going to be doing with you, and you need to take control of that man, right? And likewise, if a man find a woman and the woman seems out of his category, she needs to know how to step up her game. I'm sorry, he needs to know how to step up his game to keep his woman. Or you gotta make room for something else to happen. And he can eventually lose it. But all of that comes back down to communication. You see, let me bring back up the comment. You see, you've been with your husband for 40 years. You said you had a problem with him as a sweet man. 40 years. Can you tell me Basanti? For 40 years. How much of that 40 years was your husband a sweet man? Right? Right? And can you tell me, that means your husband had to be a good looking man, or still gotta be a good looking man? Right? Did you ever get him on a problem based on it? Did you ever talk about it? What was the circumstance? But you see, that's love. It might be torture at the same time, but it is love. You see, some women are like, wow, I would never do that. And let me tell you what. Some women lying to themselves, because some women would do it skunt. Right? This is a fact. Some men say, I'll never be with a woman who's married, and blah, 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 blah. Lie skunt. Sometimes that exceptional person will just stand up in front of your face, and then your whole, all your critical thinking and everything done get critically collapse. Story done. Am I going to find somebody with collapsed thinking for Rude Boy? I have no idea. Right? Because that's a serious thing, right? But, one, I congratulate you, Basanti. One, not just for being able to rally out that storm in your life, those moments of insecurity, those moments of frustration, because it had to be a lot. Emotions of the heart are always a lot. It's a heavy burden to bear. But I congratulate you for being able to talk about it, to bring it out and let people know that sometimes, because you actually sound very happy and you sound very content right now. And that means that you did rally through the storm, and at the end, when the storm was cleared, you found your rainbow. You found what you were looking for. Right? You found that. And I know that would have happened to you for 40 years. I remember I was in a relationship and the person was cheating on me for 2 days, skunt, and I was already frustrated. I said, this can't happen. I said, 2 days? 2 days too much. I said, this couldn't happen. And mind I say, when that relationship first started, I was the love of her life. Like, no lie. Psh. Right? But when reality started to step in where, you as a man, you gotta work, you gotta take care of everything, it takes time. Sometimes some women just feel neglected when the man gotta work. But if the man don't work, he can't do his part. Right? And, and for me, I just knew, I was like, oh my God, I couldn't handle it. So I congratulate you, because that takes, that takes real love. Let me tell you something, right? And I always tell people this shit, right? And people, nobody likes to listen to me. They don't say, a bad guy. What you gotta say, yeah? Right? But part of love is long suffering. It says it in the Bible, man. Right? It says it in the Bible. Right? Also, part of achieving any major goal that we have in this life is that challenge in between it. Okay? So for you, you have earned your happiness with your husband. Because you knew the ingredients were there, but you knew you had to work through some shit. And I congratulate you. Because the bottom line is, a lot of people wouldn't want to talk about it too much. A lot of people, they would have already crumbled. Right? And by the way, most of us are in relationships for all the wrong reasons. I don't care what anyone says. We are in the relationship for all the wrong reasons, most of us. Right? And I've seen this. I've seen this happen. Most relationships are primarily based on attraction. Most that are currently happening right now. Right? And are we only attracted to the outer person? This is the whole thing, right? How many of us actually take the time to get to really know the other person? And when I say really know the other person, I mean really, really, really know the other person, right? Like to just be openly honest. How many of you, like, I'm gonna ask all of you this question. How many of you, you don't gotta put it up in a post, you ain't gotta say nothing like that because it's gonna, some of y'all might get into problems, right? So don't put it up in case somebody watch. But think to yourself for a minute. How many of you can actually be 100% honest in your current relationship and think that it can stand up after that honesty comes out? My bet, less than 50% of us can actually do that. And that's just a high estimate, right? That's just a high estimate. Well, here's the thing, Lee Nai, the woman loves your husband, but your husband, to her knowledge, isn't cheating, and they're happy. They're happy, right? Lee Nai, are you married? Cause I could tell you, I've been married a couple times and just didn't work out. Do I have bad relationships with my exes? No. But when we got into it, all of us, we were on one page. It all seemed like that. But time, time shows everything. You can't hide it. Whatever is on lockdown, when time takes hold of it, everything is eventually exposed. No lie. There's very few lies, right, that stand the test of time. Time normally exposes all lies, and I've seen that, right? You know. So my question is, right, like how many people, right, know that you can be 100% honest, right, with your spouse or your lover, and think that that person will not look at you differently? Let's see what's going on. Let's see. You must think when you have children. Can you do can you do sorting things in front of your children? Certain things in front of your children. Hey, let me tell you something, Basanti. When you have children, it don't mean your sex life dead, you know. It just means that you gotta readjust how you're doing things. You gotta readjust your schedule, right? And my advice is, before going to have children with someone, please try to experience all of the things that you think you may not be able to experience as much as you want when you do have children. Children are not supposed to be a prison or a relationship killer, okay? They're not supposed to be. Hey, Sharon. Yeah, that's a long time ago. When you tell me about a new driving in Brick Dam, that's a long time ago, girl. Ooh, that's long. For real. Right? Um, yeah, but, you know, I've got children. That doesn't mean that if I'm happily married and I've got all six of my children in one building with me, I wouldn't be creative to do certain things with the person I'm with. Uh-uh. Having children don't mean that body dead. Body ain't dead. Body active, Scott. Right? So you still gotta ensure that everything active. Can't be like, I got children and this and this and this. Right? The children should not be the excuse of it. Right? Now, if you got miserable children, it just means that you ain't doing a good job as a parent. Right? You need balance. You know what playtime is? Oh, when your children get playtime, that's when mommy and daddy get playtime too, you know. What you mean? You make sure the bigger one watching the smaller one. You give the bigger one a small piece and tell the bigger one buy the smaller one a little candy anytime the small one start acting up. Oh, every piece of sweetie gonna buy you 5 minutes. Buy them 10 pieces sweetie. You got a movie. You got time. This is the truth. Send them outside. Buy them a puppy. You think the puppy? You think you're buying the puppy for the children? No, you're buying the dog for yourself because the dog got occupy the children time. What's that, Paras? What's up? When your hormones get hijacked with your brain, it's problems. Yep. Yep. Right? Hard to keep a balance after that. Right? Because you're just gonna want to go forward. Right? Now here's the thing, right? Um, Realistically, right? Looking for honest answers here, all right? Honest answers here. How many of you have been through failed relationships before you have found the person that you're looking for? And if you are one of those people, just put the age, just the number, the age that you were at when you finally found the type of person that you knew you could be happy with. Put that age. Just write the number. Right? You see, the bottom line is sometimes when we're very young, hormones is it. That's our driving factor. That's our driving force. Right? When we start to get older, all right, we start to experience life differently. And my advice is before people go and you push to settle down, right? Get as much exposure to this life as possible. For one, in Guyana, I think many people in Guyana are still at the belief that the person that they love or they're gonna fall in love with is in Guyana. That might not be the case, right? That might not be the case. Okay? However, traditionally, right, we're still in a country where certain traditions force certain things on people. And those traditional values, they even travel with us and with our culture wherever we go. I know people, for instance, they're picking the type of person they want their child to marry. And then when the relationship doesn't work out, they're like blaming their kid or they're blaming something and they're just like, yo, you know, what did you do wrong? What do you mean, what did I do wrong? You picked the guy for me, mom. So, mom, how about you and him go and hang out? Right? Asking me, what did I do wrong? You made a bad pick. Right? Right? There's got to be a guidebook to pick in. To picking people for your children, there needs to be a guidebook. Right? Um, I've seen this thing happening too often, and it's still happening in Guyana, by the way. Okay, it's happening in some Arab countries. It's happening in a lot of poor nations. People are just taking it out of control. Oh, big people. Just allow all them young people allow them to make their mistakes, man. Guide them and hope that their mistakes ain't crucial, but allow them to make some mistakes. Trust me, they're gonna learn from it. Right? No, don't try to hunt them down and destroy things. It's just not cool. Right? Right. Now, should people come to Guyana to find a relationship? Guyana's no different than any other country in the world. There's good, there's bad, right? You can find what you're looking for. You can find what you're looking for maybe here, maybe in a different country. Where Rude Boy saying he won't come here for what he's looking for, maybe you can find that species here. I'm not saying nay. Oh, Scoots. 1 second, guys. 1 second. Hey, what's up? Yeah, we there right next door. We there right next door to Medex Pharmacy on the public road. The, yeah, which side are you coming from? Okay, so good. Yeah, so as he turns the bridge and he keeps coming down, before he gets to Eccles, there's a tire shop. We there next door to the tire shop. Yeah, right before Eccles. We're right in by the Stung. Not too far from the KFC, the old KFC. Yeah, so as soon as he turned, let him just pull before he hits the next Carno. We're there. He's gonna see Medex Pharmacy, the big red sign. Yeah, right next door. Good, thanks. Sorry about that. It's Corbani, and some of our friends and family is sending beef. So I know there's beef on the diet now, at least on the menu for sometime in this next week. I've got to figure it out because my new diet, I'm not supposed to be eating a whole bunch of red meat. So, hey doc, this is a crazy time to put me on a red meat diet, a diet to kill me off of red meat, man. Right? So it's crazy, right? Yes, but like we were saying, right? Guyana is no different than any other part of the world in terms of finding a mate or finding someone, right? There's some nice people. However, at the same time, I think that a lot more Guyanese need exposure. If you're from overseas, if you're living abroad or you've been living abroad for a certain amount of time, unless you're looking for a relationship that you may always be a few steps ahead, you should not necessarily come to Guyana to find a particular type of relationship, right? If you've got a ton of exposure and you're looking for someone who can truly relate to that exposure, Guyana may not be the best place. You may find looks. You're going to find some great moral values with some of the women here. You're going to find certain things. But would you always find something to stimulate you to the level by which you have been stimulated before based on exposure? Maybe not. Thanks to the internet, thanks to technology, thanks to a lot of things, Guyanese are getting a lot more exposure now. We're getting exposure to the world. There's a lot of other things that persons can use. There's a lot more Guyanese traveling back and forth. Of course, not right now with COVID, right? But we're evolving. But if you're coming and if you're coming from a very very developed country and you're used to a very fast pace of life, you need to understand the culture of Guyana. And most people in Guyana right now, they're not very fast paced people. Some might think they're fast, but I'm sorry, they're not, right? So if you're looking for slow down, settle down, step back a few generation type thing, right? Um, you could probably find that still here. All right. However, unfortunately, some of the ways that a lot of young Guyanese women, I could tell you, have adapted, by time they're 30s, some of these girls ain't gonna be proper wife material in my book. Right? In my book, personally speaking, right? I might not be proper husband material in other people's book. But once again, you have to know what you are looking for. Okay? And Marita, we may say that a lot of Guyanese are update and bright. Um, I can't 100% agree with that, right? We are very smart people. Don't get that twisted. We're very, very smart. It's just that if you're growing up in Guyana, even in today's society in Guyana, you have access to certain things. However, society around you does not promote you to harness the true potential of what you have access to. They still pretty much keep you in this little runaround system, right? And that runaround system is where all of the broken flaws and everything is that causes people to make a whole bunch of horrible life decisions. And I've seen that. I've personally seen that. Like I said, I do actually do relationship counseling, right? You can actually purchase that service or hire me as a consultant for your relationship. You could go to Fiverr.com. You could go to a few other platforms that I actually sell advice on, right? Just letting you know, right? The thing is, though, is that it comes back to what I was saying from the beginning. Most people don't really know what they want. Uh, Okay, I've dated a few Guyanese girls, right? And it's nice, wonderful people. Certain things are good, but sometimes at the same time, finding somebody who could keep up to date with the way I think, it may not always be that easy. And not because they don't know, they're very smart, but I've probably got like years of exposure ahead of certain people. And because of that, I've seen some amazingly beautiful women that it just didn't click. It just wouldn't click straight up. Likewise, I know some women who are so far beyond me that, if I ever wanted to be with them, I got to catch up fast. This is a fact. It goes vice versa, right? It's a two-way street, right? Men, women, whatever the case is, right? For women, if you're looking for a Guyanese man, right? It's one, most of us Guyanese men, let me just tell you, hands down, most of us, right? And I say us because I'm a man in Guyana, not necessarily because I fit into this particular category, but being a man in Guyana, most of the men in Guyana don't know what they want right now. This is a fact, right? And if you look good and you ain't gonna stress them out, them man depondo, right? However, as they get older now and they're looking for that life partner, they don't really find it. And because of that, by time, if they start a relationship, by time in their early teens, by time they're 28, 30, they start to lose interest because by that time they start to really mature. And for the most part, they start to have different urges and want different things in life, right? And it's like that. It's like that with women too, right? When they're a certain age, it's about certain things. Of course, when they mature, and people start to see the realities of life, your wants start to be determined by your needs. Now, in Guyana right now, with the recession and everything that's going on, I would tell you, most people who will get into certain types of relationships, all right, will do so because it's easier to fight this storm together. And I can understand that. I can understand that. And that's not just in Guyana, okay? That's a lot of different parts in the world. I know some of you would have heard the term, like some girls are gold diggers. Listen, I ain't got time. If a girl want to be a gold digger, be a gold digger, right? That's your business. You gotta find a man who dep on the skunt, right? I ain't dep on the, but you gotta find somebody who dep on the, right? And you might find what you're looking for. But some people want to be a gold digger and then don't want to tell themselves they're not. And that is where the problem is, because then they end up with a poor man and they expect the poor man for find gold. No, yeah, with them priceless porcelain vaginas, I gotta go into a special museum, right? And let somebody walk and admire you and find you, right? And that's fine. That's what the Facebook is, the museum for that shit. Seriously, right? So you'll be able to see a lot of people looking for sugar daddies and stuff like that. You'll be able to find them on Facebook. And that's why I know for a fact that if Rude Boy is looking for a woman, let Rude Boy just skim and scan on Facebook. He has a lot of followers from the App New AFC Coalition, and I'm sure that, he's making some money there in Canada. I'm sure he could get a thing. He don't need me for that, right? What's this? Papa Snow. How when parents choose for you, their marriage work out? Look at the high court. Most divorce people choose for themselves. Listen, here's the thing, right? For the most part, certain things your parents choose for you may work out. But it's not because your parents are choosing for you. It's because when you have made your own choice, you did not make it with enough information. Okay? This is a fact. Let me tell you something. And I can tell you something, right? Well, community, you know how many sugar daddies there out there? Oh, let me tell you something. Any, if any woman out there looking for a sugar daddy, right? Send you a message. I know a couple people. I know plenty people, right? Who don't mind being sugar daddy. But understand, the funny thing is, that's all they want. So if you get done, you ain't getting nothing else, then you can't complain. And this is the problem. Some people just want everything. You want the carne and the hooks, right? Or you want your cake and eat it too, right? It's a little hard sometimes. Sometimes you'll find love, but you got to build money. Got to work together to build it. And sometimes you find money, and connected to that money is a lifetime of misery. I've seen all of those circumstances. Okay? Community, if you're in Guyana and you're looking for a sugar daddy, you're going to have a lot of competition. There are tons and tons of Spanish women here as well. And some of them look really, really good. And plenty of them getting sugar daddies. 1 second. Hello? What's up? I'm doing all right. I'm actually in the middle of a live. What's going on? Okay, great. Yeah, sorry about that. But yeah, finding sugar daddy, man, woman, y'all can find sugar daddy easy. That's not a problem. Here's the problem, though, with finding a sugar daddy these days, right? Most of the broke people wear the fanciest thing and dressing up the nicest. And the people who got real money, right, or who really rich, Abby ain't got time for show off, you know. That don't make no sense, right? So you gotta know what you're looking for. In Delaware State, maybe you gotta look out of state. Trust me, America got plenty sugar daddy. Be careful too, right? Because Rude Boy might be watching this and say, he's got some Canadian currency. So be very careful. Next thing you know, you got a ton of people sending you message requests, friend requests. Hey, I'll be your sugar daddy. Right? So be very, very careful, right? Right? Yeah, man, but it's crazy, right? Right now, ladies and gentlemen, in my opinion, for the most part, I think that the world needs to really find individual independence when it comes to emotion. Most of us still think that we need someone else to be happy. I can be in a relationship with God and be happy if I know what I want. Most of us are of the belief that we need someone in our life to be happy. Having someone in your life to be happy is an amazing feeling. But it is nothing compared to learning how to be happy with who you are. That is a fact. Okay? Now, I will also state that the possibility of finding something that you truly want online, it's slim, but it's possible. The possibility of finding what you want in Guyana for someone like me, it's slim, but possible. Here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen. You, and my advice is, please take time, travel this world a little bit, explore yourself. Make a list. Write down a certain amount of things on your list. And push to find someone who makes, who can fit most of those boxes, who can check off most of those boxes on your list. Right? Yes, Jasmine Foster, definitely your partner should add to your happiness, not make you happy. And this is very, very important. This is very, very important. Self-love is important. I remember I was in a relationship a while back, and my eldest son, his mother, and I used to tell her, I used to be like, I love you. And she was like, that sounds nice, but do you love yourself? You know? And I used to think about it, like, man, why is it when I tell this woman this, well, she was a wise woman. She had good sense, good. Because she knew, and she knew at least more than I knew at the time, that there's no way you can love somebody and you still have conflict within yourself. You need to love this first. You need to love every part of your body, every part of who you are. You need to love yourself. And there's many of us that does not love ourselves. There's many of us that don't love ourselves. Donald Trump loves himself. Right? Donald Trump definitely loves himself. Right? But there's many of us that don't love ourselves. And I've seen many relationships. I've counseled a lot of young people in their relationships for the same aspect, self-love. They jump into relationships and they're so busy telling the next person, I love you, I'll do anything for you, I'll die for you, I'll do this, I'll do that, I'll do this, I'll do that. But they have no love for themselves. And in the process of that, they push to build the next person and they forget about their self. Now, because they're teens and they're growing out of that and they're young adults, by the time they do really understand who they are and what it is that they need to do for their self in life, they would have given so much of their self to the next person that there's nothing really left for them to build their self up now. And then they need to rely on another relationship to get energy or courage to move on, because that is the type of trend, right? That's the type of trend that's been going on. And it's sad, but it's true. Let's see. I'm traveling 5 times a year, which I love to do with my friends. I do enjoy it. Yes, exactly. You have to do things for yourself. Okay, how many of you are in controlling relationships? You're married. Can you take a vacation without your husband? Or you take a vacation without your wife, you and the boys? Can you do that without the next side tripping out? And say, hey, where you going? What you doing? Right? Right? So, a lot of people can't do that. I've come across countless relationships where it's more of an ownership, like a serious, like dominating type of ownership. Like, it's not just like you're mine because I love you and I'm yours because I love you. It's you're mine, you're my possession, and I just want to control you. Right? And you're going to find a lot of that, especially in East Indian relationships, from the male to the female. He loves his wife, but he has to control every aspect of his wife. You will find, you will find that. Right? If you're in relationships where people emotionally bully you, like when you do something for yourself, they knock you with a guilt trip, like, why? Oh, God. No, you gotta lose they scut. Them don't like you. Them don't want to see you do nothing good for yourself. Right? Something wrong with them. You gotta teach them how to find themselves. Right? So, getting back to Rude Boy stuff, and I hope he's listening, right? My brother, the first thing you need to do is you need to find yourself. You need to know what you want. Right? If you're looking for a mate, it's not hard to find a mate. But the first thing you need to do is find yourself. And I think that, even though you're older than me, I think that you may still be figuring that out. The big dildo you had in your hand was an indication of that. The poor little dogs watching from the back like, oh my God, was an indication of that. right? So I am happy that you told me today that you are definitely interested in the opposite sex, because as a red man, I don't want to hear too many red man becoming an anti-man. I like know the red man like woman, right? It's just a thing. I can't speak for the black man. I can't speak for the Indian man. I just a mix up red man. And I can say it's a shame every time a red man turn to homosexuality, right? Or anything to do with a big dildo in your hand, right? Shame, 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 right? Can you just please explain to me what the hell are you doing owning a dildo, dude? Like I'm baffled. I feel like that reporter that was speaking to Anil. I feel baffled, right? you left you left me wondering. You left me wondering, but I said bye. Oh, and so I just said, man, I would leave it alone. But since you bring up the topic, I said let me address it, right? Right? And for everybody out there that has seen my relationship status, right? Please understand. First and foremost, I'm in a relationship with myself. I know what I want, and I'm gonna get what I want, right? And I'm gonna make sure that I am as good as I need to be to acquire what it is that I want, right? And I know that right now there's a couple people who may be attracted to me. And for those people out there, I know a couple people would have probably messaged me already and so on and so forth. Respectfully, I think you're all amazing people. I think you're all amazing people. I'm sure that you're gonna be freaking excitedly happy when you find that right person. I'm just not really trying to confuse anybody right now, Keep everybody same page, because we're all friends here, right? Let's see, Paras, you got something there. I've seen a lot of abuse relations in Guyana in the 70s. Rum shop and outside partner is the cause of that. Well, we could say the rum shop is the cause. We could say that that cheating is the cause. But at the bottom line is nobody didn't force the person to go to the rum shop, and nobody didn't force the person to cheat. All of those things come from the person's actual decision, their free will. They have a right to choose what it is they want to do and what it is that they don't want to do, right? And my advice is, if you're in a relationship that cannot give you what you're looking for, then as soon as you realize that, don't keep it quiet. You need to start bringing it to the front and saying, hey, I'm not happy. I think that if we added this or subtracted this, it might be a little better. It all comes back down to communication. Right? Michelle. Right? People very, I love my intelligent viewers. I love them. Love all of my intelligent viewers. If you feel loved, that's because you guys are intelligent. Right? And let me tell you something. It took me coming on social media to actually find people of similar mentality. Smart, productive individuals. Because reality is, sometimes you go and you look in your immediate environment and it's not available there. Does that mean that, you're different from it? Hell yeah, it means you're different. You're different. You're meant to be different. Right? Right? You're meant to be different. We're all meant to be different. Right? Now, me, I have a lot of experience in life. When it comes to life experience, I've got a shitload of life experience, especially for my age. Right? And I'm happy I know the stuff that I know, because I know that based on what I know, I can acquire what it is that I'm after in terms of a relationship. I can communicate well. I can make my partner happy. I can do those things. Okay? But at the same time, it's important for me to find a partner that thinks on similar wavelengths. Right? And that's where, for me, I get to do the sorting, and I'm like, okay, good. I can pinpoint like detail. You know, it's almost like a job application. You're looking for the applicant who suits the position best. And for each person, it's a different company, and each company has different requirements, and each employee has a different task, right? So, persons need to know what they're looking for. And once you know what you're looking for and you have a clear understanding and the ability to relate what you are looking for and then separate your wants from your needs, finding what you need and finding what or the person that can make you happy will not be as difficult as you think. After that, the only thing that makes it difficult is your inability to control yourself and stay on target, right? And that's a fact, right? And that is a fact, right? Yes, Natasha, it is definitely a two-way streak. It's definitely a two-way streak, and that's the problem that many relationships right now are facing, is that you always have one person who really wants the relationship more than the next, and that's kind of bad. You need to have people who equally want certain things, right? And you need to be able to communicate that effectively, and you got to also have belly and patience, right? Patience. Patience. Especially if you're looking for love during COVID-19. You better also have patience. Because sometimes you look for love, next thing you know, you find love. But the airport can't open, scunt. What are you going to do? You going to build a canoe? You going to build a boat? What are you going to do? Right? You got to call Granger. You got to call one of them and ask them for open up the airline. Tell them you work with Exxon. You got to do something, right? Well, you know, I remember telling myself, because I've been through some shit already, right? Telling myself that when I know for a fact I happy and I ready, that I said I'm not gonna be getting back married. I've been telling myself this and this, right? But then the reality is, oh Scott, there's a part of me that wants to be happily married and settled down and content. You see me, I as a man, I can be content very fast. If I know what I want and I get what I want, I content, Scott. I don't look left, I don't look right. Me ain't got time for the Scott. I stay on my goal, I stay on my plan. But most man can't do that, and that's the problem, right? Marita, you say thank God for technologies, girl. So if you got a man in a foreign land, what type of technology? No, and let me stop. Let me not even go there. Rude Boy already showed me his version of technology. Story done. Understood. Technology, right? Virtual reality. Let's see this, Lee Knight. Yeah, definitely. You need to have understanding and lots of communication. In fact, I think before anybody goes and you're popping in, you see, I'm still kind of old-fashioned, right? I'm still kind of old-fashioned in some ways. When I was a little younger, I wasn't so old-fashioned, but these days I'm a little bit more old-fashioned, right? I like to talk. If me and you having a conversation and you running out the words, then me and you got the problem. I don't think I can. I don't think I can be with you, because I know that would just that just means it's only physical. And yes, physical is nice, but definitely you need more than that, right? You definitely need more than that. Can I grow with somebody? Yes. Can I be there? Watch somebody grow through every hell yeah, not a problem. That's cool. However, substance, man, substance. On some level, some area, we have to have like a serious mental connection, not just emotional, right? Because I do believe that when you're in a relationship, you should be in a relationship that you can learn from, that you can gain from. Even on friendship, if I have a friendship with with anybody, right? Man, woman, whatever. If you're my friend, I got to be able to learn something or grow from that relationship that I have with you. And a romantic relationship is no different. It should always be about more than just romance, right? Substance. Thank you very much. Substance. Substance. You need substance, right? Me, the type of women that I think I would go for would drive the average man crazy. Why? Because that person so laid back skunt, but they critically thinking everything, don't make joke, Don't make joke, critically thinking everything, but you would never know. You would never know. They could watch you in your face. You would never see it coming. Right? Maybe I like the danger. Who knows? Right? But, you know, for me, I can't be with no woman that's a pushover. I can't do that. Right? And I don't think that any man should look for. Right on. 38 years. Congratulations, Paras. You've been married longer than I've been alive. Look at that. Right? Congrats, my brother. Right? So, that's crazy. It's longer than I've been alive. I'm only turning 38 in August. Right? But you see, too, right? When you got married, Paras, it was a different time. The women were different. The men were different. You had more womanly women and more manly men, right? These days, some of the women behave like them got the balls, and some of the men behave like them a share auntie man. So it's a different story, right? And so it's important for people to really figure themselves out first, right? And now, honestly, right, how many of you who are watching this know enough about yourself to know what it is that you truly want? How many of you would have gotten into relationships that have been long-term relationships and now realize, oh shit, this isn't necessarily how I planned on it or what I wanted, right? There's some of you out there that are trying to get out of relationships. And don't even know how. And in the process of not knowing how, it's actually causing more damage. Shit happens. Paras, I think I got luck like you, bro. I believe it's in my destiny for that person to find me. That is a fact. So, because I could tell you, me going after things, I didn't always make the best choice in my life. Right? But that's why I took myself out of the equation and I just let God handle me business, right? This way now, when God handle me business, I can't go wrong. But I also got faith. Right? And that is a very important thing. Most people right now, especially young people, they just want to hook up. Let's see this. I always like comments like this. Comments like this are nice. From Lee Nye. Snow, I'm a domestic violence women's counselor in my church. I am a pro in my experience. I know how to date a man, how to communicate good. I learned a lot from my first marriage. So is today different now? Let me go back over this, make sure I'm reading this right. So you learned a lot from your first marriage. Okay, yeah. So, yeah, for you, today would be different. Today would definitely be different. Your life experiences, the work that you do will actually help to streamline your choice in what you're looking for. The work that I do has helped me streamline what I'm looking for, who I'm looking for, what it is that I want out of a relationship. And I can definitely tell you that it is significantly different than what I wanted when I was 16. It is significantly different. And because of all of these things that I have been through and what I've seen, this is why I come to the opinion that it is important for persons to experience as much exposure in this life as possible. Exposure, not whoring around, exposure. Okay? Let me stress that out. Exposure, right? To a variety of different things, concepts, and cultures. Before we say, hey, this is for me. Right? And for me, I'm happy. Despite I would have went through my up and downs, I'm happy. Right? Because I know what I want. I know it so much, I could start with a blank sheet of paper, scunt, and render you a 3D model. How much I know. Okay? With a little further scientific technology, I could build it, scunt. How bad I know what I want. But lo and behold, God is great. Sometimes He does just provide it for you. Right? And then you can be very happy. But here's the problem. Many of us get what we're looking for, and then we don't treat it right. And then we lose it. And we didn't learn from our mistake, so then we end up going and doing the same stunt again. In every relationship, over and over and over again. And then we wonder why relationships are bad. Let's see what's here. Yeah. Okay, great. Susan, thank you for coming on. Right? Let me tell you. Right? My sister Susan. I've only in all the years I've known her, I've only known her to be with one person. Right? And that is the person that she is married. Okay? That she has a beautiful future with. Okay? And I could tell you. But Susan had went through a lot of things in her life in terms of life experiences. Being a survivor of cancer. Going through all of this stuff. So all of the material things and all of these fake facades and things like that, Susan never focused on that stuff. Instead, she focused on the real qualities that she was looking for in a husband and a man, and she was able to find the man of her dreams, her husband, Kelvin. Right? And Kelvin, you're an amazing husband and father. So I give you my thumbs up from a brother-in-law, basically. You get it? You're an amazing husband and father, and I congratulate you. Right? But ladies, Kelvin's taken. Right? But there are other people like that. There are other people. Who said that's a robot, Snow? Yeah. I get what you're saying there. Donna. Hard to get people just to be one way, because as soon as emotions step in, things change. However, communication should never change. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, right? We did receive some beef from my cousin, and we are actually making some beef curry right now. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna make some beef curry, right? And get this in order and eat something very, very tasty. Right? So in the meantime, take care. God bless. Rude Boy, please take my advice and you'll find what you're looking for. Right? All right. Rude Boy's dogs, take care, little puppies. At least we know You're looking for a woman, so yeah, I'll see. Good. I'm out.